Welcome back, and today we are looking at Matthew 2. The first two verses of Matthew 2 say this: After Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea, during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, "Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star when it rose and have come to worship him." So Dan, when you looked at these verses, what do you think God was speaking to us, and what's important in these verses for us to pick out?
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing part of Scripture because it's the birth of Jesus. It's it's the big event. And but yeah, it's amazing because the traveling that went into them finding Jesus and searching for the King. They saw the star. They were, and for me, it was all about the image that they were expecting to find, and they were searching for a king.
Yeah.
And what they found wasn't a king that they thought would be a king. They found actually just a baby in a manger.
Yeah.
And what it did, and because of the Old Testament, and all they knew was actually they thought there was going to be a redeemer, and they did not expect a shepherd to come. They expected a king to sit on a throne and be their mighty warrior, but that's not what they got. And what they got was a child that was born in quite an undignified way. That wasn't even, they didn't even have space anywhere for the way that Jesus came into the world was it just shows the inclusivity of who he was.
Yeah, so true. You wonder really what the Magi felt as they're following this star and it's getting close to this kind of middle of Bethlehem. You're thinking, what are we going to find in this place? Right? It's fascinating to see it. And you were saying actually to me that there's that actually Jesus continues to do this throughout his life,
completely.
Change our, do things different from our expectations. Do you want to share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I mean, look at Jesus, and the thing is, because we're 2,000 years later now, we just think it's so normal that Jesus was born in a manger, and it's just so normal that Jesus would speak to a woman at a well, and it's so normal. But these things were just huge in that time and in that culture, and it just was nuts for Jesus to walk up to a woman and speak to her and ask her and for him to touch a leper, all of these things where he just went through his life and just blew apart everything that really that culture knew. Yeah,
and it says something to us about how we can live our life, about what our expectations and what God might do in our lives. Right?
Yeah.
It's I wonder what you might be expecting from God in this time, in this season as we go through into Christmas. And what expectations do you have of your life, of what's going on in your job, at home? And I guess really this is pointing to say that God can do anything.
Completely.
Right? And it's great. So I encourage you, allow God to exceed and blow your expectations out the water today and in this Christmas period.